Hey all, Steve from GuitarNiche here. On the bench we have a lovely 97 Gibson Explorer in cherry with some obvious modifications. The issue I'm faced with here is regarding relief and how to perhaps coax a little more relief out of a Gibson style instrument. If we look at around the 7th fret or so, is pretty stiff in its current state. With the strings relaxed and a little bit of pressure on the truss rod, the relief measured roughly 25 thou. And as soon as I started tightening up the truss rod adjuster, I noticed that it was binding a bit too much. So we're going to see if we can help it along. Simple as that. Strings are off, so we have good access to the unit. And first thing I'm going to do is peel off that nut. Not bust it, peel it. There's a difference. This takes a few moments. Now before I continue though, I want to share a little tip here. You see this adjuster, 5/16 box end, is an original Gibson supplied one, but I found that during the course of doing, some setups and stuff like that, I found that there was some encroachment between the bottom of the nut, the truss rod nut, and the actual route for the nut itself. So I just ground that off a little bit, chamfered the back edge, and been using it for many years. Works like a champ. Right, you'll get it someday. There we go. Okay, what are we gonna do? Well, this has got a lot of junk going on here. I'm still gonna have to pry this little washer out. This is the tricky part. There's polishing compound and glue and all sorts of lovely things in here, which I'm going to have to try and dig out. There we go. There we go. Carefully. Creep that out. There we go. So see this, that's got a little bit of a right angle on the end. I use that for all sorts of wonderful things. Okay, there we go. Now, our washer here is in, it is what it is. This is the bearing surface here for the washer itself. And what's happened here is this wood has become compressed. And what tends to happen is the wood starts to also bind against the end of the truss rod right here where I'm cleaning off the threads. There's not much I'm going to do about the adding a washer or anything like that. What I'm more concerned with is just cleaning this up a little bit, okay, and making sure that the threads are relatively clean and all that good stuff, okay? So that gives you an idea of what we're looking at. This is why a lot of truss rod adjusters stop working, and they can actually pull. It's Gibson style stuff. It happens once in a while. But anyway, that's pretty much that. So our next job is to reinstate the washer. And there we go. You see that washer wants to go back and put in place. No problem. I'm going to apply a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on the threads. Okay, and that'll penetrate just fine. Not next to the wood, because we don't want to soak the wood, right? I mean, what's the point of oiling up the wood? It's not going to help anything. But I'm also going to put a little bit on the end of the nut there. And we're going to help that out a little bit by getting that in there. And this should help things along just dandy. It doesn't take much. And back to the adjuster. So this, I'll tell you right now, this is like almost floating. Oh, yeah, and there we go. We're starting to get some pressure on that. Beauty. Now, because I don't have the strings on, I'm going to use my notched straight edge here, and you can listen to the report. A lot of give in that yet. Beauty. That's a lot of turns. That's a lot of turns. And the neck still has a little ways to go. But that is miles above. There we go. Now can you hear that? Okay, that's my straight edges rocking on the fretboard, meaning I can get it past straight, which is great, which means the truss rod adjuster is doing just fine. Okay, and we'll give that a little this, a little that. We will we'll get the strings on it and see what kind of measurements we can come up with, where we wind up, and etc. And that's looking a whole lot better. There's just a tiny little bit of air there. It's only maybe 1/4 thou or so, which is where we want to be. But the difference between what we had and what it is at the moment is huge. So I'm going to let this sit overnight to reacclimate. So the idea is to let the compression on the neck take its toll over the next day or so. And we'll make the final adjustments for the setup, and hopefully it should all be good. Anyway, my name is Steve. This is GuitarNiche. Hope you got something out of that. As always, like and subscribe. Appreciate that. Keeps the wheels greased, you know. Read the description below for some freebies. Play loud. Have fun. Have a great day. Cheers.